Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So, for all you Audie fans, he's asleep on my bed. I went out this morning, and when I came back, I took my sweater off, put it on the bed, and went over to change my shoes, which I swear hardly takes me more than maybe 2 minutes at most. And by the time I got back, there was a cat sound asleep on my sweater. I didn't have the heart to move him, so he's probably still there. He may end up showing up because he likes when I film. And obviously you've seen that. I start talking and that eventually brings him out. And he's like, oh, my adoring public, let me make an appearance. And he photobombs the video. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Yellow. And our yellow is for Catherine, it is for Lex's mom, it is for everyone coping with cancer, and we are just sending all of you our very, very best wishes. So, I thought we'd do something, I don't know, maybe sort of a little different today. When we come back, we are going to take a look at perfume. So, perfume. Now, I have always worn perfume. I have some old favorites, some new favorites, and the thing is, perfume is practically a requirement within the blind community. Think about it. If you are sighted and somebody walks into a room, you immediately know who it is. If it's a friend of yours, no problem. But what are you going to do if you're blind? Well, if they have a signature scent, that's how you recognize them. And I got myself into some trouble years ago when I adopted a fragrance of another blind friend. She wore something called Magie Noire. I liked it. I got a bottle. And I just started confusing people. Because keep in mind, she's blind too. So the blind community is basically where we did a lot of our socializing. Yeah, that was a mistake. Because I really was confusing people. I would walk into a room wearing Monica's perfume, and everybody would say, oh, hi, Monica. It's like, oops, wrong perfume. But that's how I got into it. And in the post-2020 period, when many of us are doing most, if not all, of our shopping online, buying perfume can be very tricky because you don't know what it smells like. They can give you all the descriptions they want, but if it can sound good on paper, but smell like crap on you. So what I do is, and I have explained this in the past, I get perfume samples. Let me just show you one. And there's a little tiny vial. This one is a little spray vial of perfume. Oh, here, I wrote the price on the back. Can you see? $1.29. That's how I buy my perfume. Because for $1.29, and a bottle like that, well, look at that. For most people who do not bathe in their perfume, that is probably about 6 separate wearings. Probably about 4 for me because I semi-bathe in my perfume. But it makes sense. This is how I can try fragrances. Oh, yes, by the way, that is Jessica Simpson, and this is something called Fancy. And we'll pick up on that in a minute. And that's how I get to try things. I'll order whatever strikes my fancy. I go to Fragrance Net. fragrancenet.com. I think it's FragranceNet. If you want to find the place, just put FragranceNet into a search engine. It'll pop right up. And I put samples into their search box, and then I get all of the samples they are carrying. And I can just pick and choose from there. They usually have a great many samples. I just got, well, I bought 24, and I think they sent me a couple of extras. So, 26. And the total cost on this last batch that I bought was $65.54, which included tax. And I'm in Pennsylvania, so tax is 6%. So if you're in a state that doesn't charge taxes, or I don't know, I think some states don't charge taxes, frankly, then it would be $61 and change. And that's for 24 vials. And some of them are very la-la, as we are going to see. So what I thought we would do is I would take you through what I bought, how much I paid for it, why I bought it. And it's just, this is a little bit of insight into my process for buying fragrances. I was going to say sight unseen, but that's not correct. Aroma unsniffed. How about that? And I have something of a process that I think enables me to increase the odds in my favor of getting a scent I will like. Or at least, minimally, I'm getting a scent I will not be sorry I purchased, and there is a difference. So, let's start with Jessica Simpson, $1.29. And as I say, this is like 6 wearings, which means it's probably about 20 cents per perfume outing. Why Jessica Simpson? Well, I had on a lark, the last time I purchased perfume like this, grabbed a Taylor Swift perfume, Wonderstruck, and I got it in a sample like this. And again, it was very inexpensive. I don't recall exactly what it was, but I don't imagine it was much more than this. But I'll read you all the prices so you'll see what these samples go for in general. And I really liked it. It's called Wonderstruck. And some of you will remember, I know you will because you were helping me try to track this down. They also sent me an extra sample, something I hadn't ordered. Invariably, they send me a vial or 2. Usually it's like 2. And of something I haven't ordered, just here, try this. And so I really liked the Taylor Swift Wonderstruck, and the freebie they sent me was a fragrance by Dolly Parton. And I really, really liked that too. In fact, I liked the Dolly Parton so much that I looked it up to try to figure out what the name of it was so I could order it. But Dolly Parton has many different fragrances, and I had no idea how to isolate this one particular fragrance from all the rest. So, yeah, I'm still looking for that. One of these days I'm going to get my butt to, I was just thinking a department store, and then it occurred to me, Dollywood. My neighbor Jane goes to Dollywood once a year. I am going to hand her that vial when she goes to Dollywood and just say, Jane, see if you can find this for me, at least find out what it is, because I'm willing to bet that every employee of every gift shop in Dollywood and even the surrounding Pigeon Forge area will be able to identify that fragrance. So, I'm delighted. I got a plan. See, I'm telling you, you folks solve all my problems for me. Really, so much better than therapy. Anyway, because I got a couple of celebrity perfumes, which is not the sort of thing I ordinarily buy, but I liked both of them, I decided I was going to try a few more. Now, I'm not going to try any of these here and now. First of all, you couldn't smell them, and frankly, If I sprayed the perfume on myself, well, I'd only be able to do one. Otherwise, I would be completely tainted and I wouldn't know what the next one smelled like. So this is less about what the perfume smells like and more about why I bought it and how I'm increasing my odds of, as I say, either getting something I like or getting something I'm not sorry I bought. So this one, yeah. Hey, Taylor Swift, Dolly Parton, Jessica Simpson goes into the box. I may like it because the last two surprised me. So let's see what's here. Oh, 64 cents. Manifesto. This is Isabella Rossellini. And let me get this out of here if I can. Well, I'm going to have to just tear this open. And this one is this a spray bottle? No, this is just a regular little vial. And again, it's about the same size as the other one. So that's probably 6 wearings, 64 cents, 10 cents to smell good for a day. Now, if it doesn't work out, oh well, it was 64 cents. So, as I say, if I like it, great. If I don't, am I sorry I bought it? Am I sorry I paid 64 cents to give it a try? Probably not, because even perfumes I don't really like, if they are, well, if they don't repulse me entirely, and there have been some that have, if they're not entirely repulsive, I can do so many different things with them. And when I give Audie a bath, I always give him a little spritz of perfume. He seems to like it, because as long as I put some perfume on myself at the same time, because he wants both of us to smell the same. In any household, all of your animals will really want you all to smell exactly the same. And if you're not careful, you need to short circuit that process or you'll end up smelling like the cat box. So what I do with Audie is I make sure he smells enough like me, especially just coming out of the bath, so that he doesn't feel the need to rub his little wet cat fur all over me to get me covered in cat smell. That's one thing. You can soak a cotton ball in perfume, stick it in a dresser drawer, smell up your underwear. There are so many things you can do with an I like it, but I don't want to wear it out in public kind of perfume. So it's not wasted. You can always turn it to some use. The only problem I would have is if I really abhorred a fragrance. And that has happened once in a great while, but if I've paid, well, the last two were $1.29 and 64 cents. I'm not afraid to throw it in the trash. I'm not going to feel wasteful if I dump it in the garbage. Or you can find friends. They might be interested in taking it. When I give, perfumes that I'm not particularly crazy about to friends, I always try to make sure it's friends who have children or grandchildren even, who are of an age where they might like to play with a little bit of perfume. And, as long as they've got parental supervision, I'm cool with that if their moms are cool with it. And then I can give it to somebody. If they don't like it, it just goes over to the kids. And kids love perfume. Doesn't matter what it smells like. They don't have the same sense of taste or smell that we do. Things that we find repulsive. Oh my gosh, quick digression. Do you know what the most revolting taste to a toddler is? Peppermint. They found this out back in, I think, the 1950s or 60s when they were experimenting with trying to find tastes that toddlers naturally dislike so they could put it in chemicals so that children wouldn't poison themselves with a bottle of bleach, for example. Needless to say, the plan didn't go anywhere because you're never going to sell parents on peppermint-flavored bleach. But Whorehound, by the way, is the taste most disliked by adults. But for some reason, little toddlers do not like the taste of peppermint. I kind of understand that because it is a strong, minty. Well, we were accustomed to thinking of mint as pleasant, but it's a strong flavor, and little ones don't like that. But anyway, I got quite a kick out of the peppermint-flavored bleach concept. Fortunately, they never went to market with that. But yeah, if you don't like it, maybe the little kid will, and it doesn't really matter anyway because they're playing grown-up. You know, they'll wear the perfume until it's bath time and then it's over and done with. No problem with that. But there are always places where you can get rid of perfume that doesn't particularly catch your fancy. So I don't have a problem with this. Now this one, and I'll get back to business. Louis Vuitton, I'm going to open this up. All right, and this one is a little spray vial, $6.49. Now this is a little more than I usually pay for these little perfume samples, and I believe this was the highest priced sample in this entire order. But Louis Vuitton, come on. And I will often buy designer fragrances like this when I can get them very inexpensively, because ordinarily, if you want to try this, you're looking at more than $100 for a very small bottle. $6 to find out if I like it, worth it. Absolutely worth it. And we'll just have to see if I like it. Cartier, Panthère. Well, I don't think they will do, I think it's Panthère. So, another one. This is a little spray vial, and let's see how much. $3.57. See, I wrote the names, or I'm sorry, I wrote the prices all over the little packaging so that I wouldn't have to go too far to look it up. But yeah, Cartier, $3.50 some. Sure, willing to take a chance. Let's go after these because I know what these are. Sud Pacifique, and this was $2.59, and this is vanilla blackberry, and this is another little vial, not a spray bottle. And why I bought this is because I have gotten one of these particular fragrances before out of the Sud Pacifique line, and I like it very much. So, buying some from this same line, and it's vanilla and whatever, and they're all in the same little packaging, so you can pretty much tell. That is absolutely increasing my chances of getting something I will like. Oh, this. Vanille Iconique. So, Iconic Vanilla at $2.59. This is the one I got before. I got it on a lark, just because, you know, going through the samples, I think the name caught my fancy, or possibly even this wonderful little blue packaging. But for whatever reason, I bought it. I liked it. So I remembered this from last time, and when I saw that they had several of these, I picked them up. Amour de Coco. So, this is another one, again, Sud Pacifique. And, oh, did I tell you? I'm sure that was too, whoa. Sorry, let me look that one up. No, That was not $2.59. That one was $3.24. However, this one, and this one is another little spray vial, and that's Jaipur, and this is from Boucheron. And I have been a huge fan of their perfume for 40 years. And that was kind of my signature scent back in the 80s, which is okay because everything was over the top in the 80s, and it's a heavy perfume. This is not what I would consider to be, this is not the kind of perfume you would wear out to the grocery store. It's a heavy scent, but I like it. So buying from that same company is increasing my odds that I will like that sample. And if I don't, it wasn't all that expensive. So let's see, what are you? Oh, Burberry. And this was $1.94, and this one is Burberry Body, and this is the perfume. And this is another little spray vial. And again, $1.94. So, I like this. I know I like this because I got some last time and decided to grab another one. Okay. And then, where are we? This one, Burberry Body, and this is the Eau de Toilette, which was $1.29. So I decided I would get both before I made a decision, because I might want to actually get a bottle of this. But I need to know if it's going to be this one or this one, because I have found that the perfume and the toilet water, basically, do not necessarily smell very much alike. That's been my experience. And very often they can be quite different. So, yes, I wanted to get this one because I know I like it. And maybe I like this one more. Who knows? But that'll help me decide if I want to get a bottle of this, because trust me, it's Burberry. It's expensive. And it's not the kind of money I want to risk unless I really know I'm going to like it. And, yeah, all the way down to the bottom. Told you, the company sends me free samples. They sent me another of the Eau de Toilette. I wrote $1.29 on the back of it, but the truth is that's not what I paid for this. This was just a little free sample. So, delighted. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, I'm nowhere near done yet. Jennifer Aniston, $1.29, and this is, I have no idea. Oh yes, I'm sorry, Near Dusk, Jennifer Aniston. And it's a little spray vial. I like the spray vials, by the way. I find them easy and convenient. So I don't want to say I will ordinarily get them first, but all things being equal, I will usually go for them before I will go for the plain old vials, just because I find it easier. Now, this, there's probably another Jennifer Aniston something or other in here. We'll get to it when we get to it. But that is on the same principle of the Jessica Simpson and the Isabella Rossellini and, the movie star fragrances, because of the whole Taylor Swift, Dolly Parton thing that did work out for me before. So why not? And because they're so very inexpensive, remember the Isabella Rossellini was 64 cents. Because they're so inexpensive, I can absolutely afford to take a chance on them. But who knows? It's like my next favorite perfume Could be Selena Gomez. Who knows? When I'm pretty sure. Do I have a Selena Gomez? I might. We'll check. Ah, this one. Let's see what this is. Oh, Loewe. Now let's get out of here. $2.59, and this is Agua de Loewe. And it is a little spray bottle. It's got this, get that off. Actually, I'm going to leave this on for now because I wouldn't really call this a label. But yeah, it's got something on here that shows what it is. At $2.59, Loewe is a very serious designer label. It's like Louis Vuitton. Why not? $2.59? Hey, I like the idea. Kenzo. Another designer. $1.29, and this is Flowers by Kenzo. And it's a little spray vial. Again, very inexpensive. I'm not so crazy about these spray vials because 9 times out of 10, they are perhaps up to here with perfume. On the other hand, $1.29, I'm not going to really feel cheated. But yeah, another designer label, why not? If you can get a high-ticket designer fragrance for such a small amount of money, my theory is go for it. You might like it, and it would cost you so much more to actually buy a bottle of it. And if you don't like it, it's going to hurt like the devil if you have to throw that bottle away. And this one is Air. Loewe, another one, $1.94. Remarkably inexpensive. Again, we've got this label on it, which I am going to get off because this is awkward and sticky. So I need to get rid of that. Another Kenzo, and this is Kenzo World Power. Another nice designer. I have 2 of his scarves, I think, and I like them very much. So why not give this perfume a try? And this one, well, this one is not very full, but hey, I only paid $1.94 for it, so I'm not complaining because I do know that the actual perfume goes for a lot more. Let's see what you are. This is Cacharel. Yes, I am. Odd name for a perfume, but I do have to kind of tear this one out. Again, a little spray vial. And this is a very serious designer, too. So, $1.94, yeah. I find this to be a great way to try out perfumes, and not just try them. You go to the store, you try out a perfume, you can try out one perfume. More than that, and the previous perfume taints your perception of the fragrance of the next perfume. You can try one perfume, you buy a sample for less than $2, and you can wear that perfume 3 or 4 days and really get to know if you like it. Jennifer Aniston is up next, $1.29. And what is this? I have no idea. There's probably a name on these Jennifer Aniston sample bottles somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it yet. I'm going to have to, if in fact I like any of them, I'm going to have to find out. Again, little spray vial, and that's a goodly amount. That is usually the amount of perfume that I get in one of these little vials. And for $1.29, such a bargain. Twilly de Hermes. So this is an Hermes fragrance, Twilly, $2.27. And yeah, I did check this one out, and it's really pricey. I think it was 70 some dollars for a very tiny bottle, as I recall. Yes, I can wear that for several days for $2.27. And if I hung around in one of those cheap crowds where they could recognize designer fragrances, I would be the envy of one and all. Unfortunately, I don't. I'm in rural Pennsylvania, and frankly, the cows and chickens don't care what I smell like. Well, maybe they do, but they haven't said anything if they do. So the fact of the matter is I got nobody to impress around here, but I can impress myself. I can feel good walking out the door saying, I smell like a designer fragrance. I smell like Hermes. Which may not be such a good thing. I don't know if that's a very good thing. But the point is, for a very, very reasonable price, that was $2.27, I could smell like I just walked out of Fashion Week in Paris. Probably not. But, yeah, follow along with me and you'll get it. I can really smell like I've paid an awful lot more than I actually did. In fact, for many of these fragrances, that $65 I paid for the whole lot would not be enough to get a single teensy bottle. So, and we haven't gotten to the real good stuff yet. Okay. Who the heck are you? Oh my gosh, Britney Spears. This is Sunset Fantasy, Britney Spears. And that is actually a pretty generous little spray vial. And this was $1.29. Why Britney Spears? Taylor Swift. That's why. It's like, I really did like Taylor Swift's fragrance. So, I guess Britney Spears is next on my list. I may, in fact, like that one. If I like that one as much as I liked the Taylor Swift, I will consider the entire shopping cart's worth of fragrances to have been worthwhile, just to find something that is new, that I haven't tried before, that might be a little younger, because, you know, I have to acknowledge that my perfume fragrances were, I was going to say by the 1980s, and I think it was by the 1980s, they were virtually set in stone. It was Boucheron, it was Chanel number 5, basically, and My Sin, which I don't wear anymore. I think it's a very heavy fragrance, but it was okay in the 80s when everything was over the top. Nothing is that over the top anymore. I don't think anything will be that over the top again. So, yeah, My Sin, I was okay with that in the 80s when we were just ourselves plus 20%. Those of you who lived through the 80s know what I mean. That was fine then, but that sort of fell by the wayside. I started looking for other fragrances, and I wouldn't mind finding younger fragrances. Chanel number 5 is not a young fragrance. Boucheron, not a young fragrance. My Sin, you know, that's one of those, you start to smell like your grandmother. Actually, my grandmother smelled like Shalimar, which in fact was my go-to fragrance in the 60s. So it would be nice to find some younger fragrances, some things that don't make me smell like somebody's granny. So that's what this whole adventure is all about. Burberry. Brit Rhythm, $1.62. And this one came in a little envelope, which is very, very nice. And that's a good amount. That is probably easily 6 wearings for your average person, 4 for me. But I already know that I like Burberry Body, so that's why I ordered this one. Again, working to increase my chances of success. Selena Gomez, $1.29. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I gave you $1.62, in case I didn't give it to you. That was on the Burberry Brit. $1.29, Selena Gomez Viva More. And this is a little vial, not a spray vial. And again, this is my Taylor Swift Dolly Parton theory. If I liked one, I might find another one that I like. Oscar de la Renta. And this is Live in Love. What can I say about this? And this is just a vial, not a spray vial, and it's a relatively small one, $1.29, and this was the perfume I got last time, basically split up into a couple of groups. My pop stars making perfume group, and then the designers making perfume group. So this is one I'd like to try. Oscar de la Renta. Oh, this is another Sud Pacifique, and this was $2.59, and this is Vanilla Cafe. So it's another little vial, but as I say, I did like the original vanilla very much, so I'm perfectly willing to try all the variations they have, and I might find something I like. Oh, this one. This is Sospiro, and this was a perfume company that I was not especially familiar with. I had heard the name, and that's all. I never, I never went beyond hearing the name. This is $5.84, and this is Prima Donna. And this is a nice fat vial, and it is a spray vial. And I did take a look at what their perfumes are going for. And it's a lot. It's, one of the bottles I saw was $275. I can't remember how big it was, but yes, I'm willing to pay, what were we here? $5.84 to get something that somebody else has to pay $275 for. That's just sort of my pricey stuff. And I got another one from that company, and this is Herba Oud, and let's see if we can get this open without breaking a nail. And this was also $5.84. Another nice vial of perfume, and I'm going to give it a try, because if they could actually charge $275 for a bottle of perfume and people will pay for it, I gotta wonder what the fuss is all about. And now I'm going to find out. And even though that that particular vial was a little more expensive than some of the others, it was also larger and fatter. And therefore, I'm probably getting more bang for my buck with that one. But still, it's worth a try. This is another Loewe. This is a men's fragrance. So I did not buy this one. And I have no idea why they gave me a men's fragrance. They do that once in a while. They'll throw in a man's fragrance. Once in a while, interestingly enough, I will buy a man's fragrance because some of them are really attractive. And this is another one. So we'll see. I would like it if I could acquire a taste for a nice, fancy men's fragrance. Loewe is a very nice, fancy brand name. If I could acquire a taste for a men's fragrance, men's fragrances are considerably less expensive than women's. So we're going to have to work on that. And we have one more, and this is something called Exceptional. And exceptional because you are, whatever that means. And this is just another little vial. It's actually quite small, but this, here, free. This was another one of the freebies from Fragrance Now. So that is what I got, and an explanation of why I got it, how I make my choices, because I always start off with something I like and move on from there, because that is the surest way to try to isolate down your taste in fragrances. If you know there's something you like, go back to that company, see if they've got something else. I know, the whole Taylor Swift and Dolly Parton thing, that's a crapshoot. And I will be the first to admit that. Absolute crapshoot. But I have to think that if young people who are buying Taylor Swift perfume, and they are, it's like young people, yeah, I was going to say something that might get my channel taken down. Young people would buy almost anything from Taylor Swift and be happy to do it. So they're buying it. And if young people are buying these fragrances, maybe this is going to give me some sense of what young people like, what they are wearing, and help me move a little away from the heavier fragrances that I'm used to. And now I understand why grandmothers all smell like grandmothers. It's because you get to a certain age and you just sort of naturally go back to the fragrances of your youth. It's like, yeah, I liked this when I was young. I'm going to go get more. And you stick with it. But, and I'm not saying I'm going to give up Chanel. I will never give up Chanel. Won't happen. But it would be nice to have something lighter to throw into the mix. Issey Miyake was the last one I found, and it's a fragrance called Please Please. And once again, the perfume and the eau de toilette do not smell very much alike at all. And they're no longer making that fragrance. And that had been my light, airy, young person's fragrance. But I can't get it anymore. So I have to figure out how to replace that. The only other fragrance that I have gotten recently, and by recently in the past 20 years really, that I liked a lot, that really worked for me, was something called Hot by Bill Blass. And that is so inexpensive. You can't get it anymore. It's gone. They're not manufacturing it. Same thing with the Please Please, the Issey Miyake. Now, I'm out of luck. And that's why I have to keep this cycle going. I have to find new fragrances because last year's fragrance is not available this year. This year's fragrance will not be available next year unless you stick with absolute classics, which is why I am not giving up Chanel No. 5. But Hot by Bill Blass, I refer to it as my drugstore perfume because it's so inexpensive, it might as well be something you get at a drugstore. I get more compliments on that perfume than I would no matter what kind of expensive fragrance I wear. People have stopped me on the street corner to ask me what I'm wearing. I know, and you're probably thinking, but Sue, you admitted you overdo it on the perfume. Yeah, I know. But I don't think that's why. I don't think anybody stops you on the street to say you smell great because you're overdoing it. I think it's because they like the perfume. But yeah, great drugstore level perfume that I can't get anymore. And I was very, I made a point of getting a couple of extra bottles when I realized that they were closing that out. But it's time we moved on. Time we found something new. And who knows? Maybe it'll be Jessica Simpson. Maybe it'll be Jennifer Aniston, Selena Gomez. If it's going to be Britney Spears, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. But the fact is, that foray into these pop star perfumes, that is how I can, well, at least try to incorporate younger fragrances into the mix. All right, this has already gone far too long. I'm sure I don't have anybody left but the diehard perfume fanatics. So my suggestion to all of you is check out places like FragranceNet, and there are a lot of other online perfume, basically they're wholesalers. Check them out, because I'm not the only one, as I well know, living out in the middle of nowhere with no Macy's or Bloomingdale's nearby where I can go in and sniff from their perfume counters. All right, we're going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. Thanks for joining us, and in the meanwhile, we will see you tomorrow. Have a pleasant day.